What's up? Another exciting pulse pounding tarot reading. Tonight I'm doing a reading that I'm really excited about because sometimes I do things that are really topical and really immediate in the news environment, what's going on right now today. But this is something that has been on the news radar for, I don't know, decades maybe, as computers have grown in power and tech companies have grown in their ability to hire researchers and do more research, and new techniques in machine learning and so on have developed over the last few decades. So I'm going to look tonight at AI, which is something that I'm curious about because I don't really know when it will happen. Like, when will this arrival happen of this? Is it a messiah at the end of time, or is it a demon at the end of time that will destroy us? Who knows what it will mean for humanity? That's what I'm going to look at tonight on this tarot reading. And anything else relating to that. I'm going to kind of take a look at some of the companies. I found a list of the top 10 companies in AI right now. Some of the names you'll probably know, like one is an Alphabet company, one is a Facebook. Actually, the names have changed. Now it's Alphabet and Meta. So I need to get that right. But names like that but other names I didn't recognize at all. So I'm going to take a look and see if where are we most likely to get this development of AI, or for that matter, is it going to happen in a way that is substantial, that leads to, the term is general AI, that is capable of thinking independently and acting in a way that is genuinely like what we think of as intelligence, but it'll probably quickly surpass anything that we understand of as intelligence and move beyond that. So what is that going to mean for us? And I'm going to take a look also at not just who and what it might mean, but also when it will happen. Is it going to happen in the 2020s, 2030s, 2040s? When will this happen? Will it be in our lifetimes, or will it never happen? Maybe computers are just not capable of thinking independently. It's we like to think that they are, but who knows? Who knows? Who knows? That's what we're going to look at. I guess I should get my tarot deck. And of course, as always, feel free to comment, chime in on anything you want to do a reading on tonight. It can be related to this topic of AI. It can be totally unrelated. It can be something else in the news that's happening. I can do a quick reading on it. If it's something bigger, a bigger topic, I can consider it for a future. I do a different topic every time I do these live readings. So if you have something that's bigger than just a quick reading, I'll save it. But if it's just a quick reading, I'll do it at the end of this, even if it's totally unrelated to AI. And it can be even something, if you have a personal, like in your life, you want a quick tarot reading, I can do that as well. Just chime in and we'll see about it. And of course, as always, you can reach me directly if you want a private tarot reading on superpeer.com/AdamSavage. Can you see it? I need to make this more visible, huh? I'm trying to, where's the camera? Oh, there. It kind of makes it a little more visible. I need to fix that font, huh? It's kind of unreadable to me anyways. But that's how you can always reach me. And without further ado, every night I do these, I think I plan on wanting to do a 15% off coupon for readings if you want a private reading, and I keep forgetting to make it. One of these days I'll do it and I'll share it with you. Maybe it's just like a teaser so that you can keep watching these. But I promise you I will have a coupon very soon, because right now I'm situated in this location for the next month, and then another location I'll be moving up to Kuala Lumpur, and I'll be there for more than a month. So I'm pretty solid to work. So if you want to reach me, I've changed my hours too, which that may or may not be copacetic for you depending on where you are in the world, but I do have hours. I tried to flex it so I have a few night hours and a few morning hours, so that no matter where you are on planet Earth, you can reach me if you need to be. But that's how you can do it at superpeer.com. Okay, so let's see. Without further ado, I guess we can begin and start taking a look at AI, artificial intelligence, which has been, when did artificial intelligence really start to make its way into the human consciousness? Well, there was a play, I believe, where the term robot was introduced. It was like a Russian play, I want to say. And I want to say that came out like in the teens, in the 1900 teens, or the 1920s, like 100 years ago or so. And then in the pulps, the concept of robots and artificial intelligence slowly bubbled to the surface, as these things often do. Before they make their way into the manifest reality, they emerge. Science fiction, fantasy are just this kind of a bubble bath of noxious birth ideas that before things happen, things like that we're fascinated by, they show up again and again in stories. And science fiction was just a medium that went beyond fantasy and say, hey, are there concrete ways that we can make this happen so that we can start thinking about it in a more practical way? So Herbert George Wells, H.G. Wells, he was like a huge pioneer in that he took like a chisel and he chipped on the wall of this giant dam of ideas. So like the Time Machine, the War of the Worlds, it's funny with those, like he would take a story and he would just introduce this idea and he wouldn't even hardly, like the Time Machine, like the character just goes to like 700,000 years in the future or something. He doesn't even look like 5 years in the future. Why didn't he? So he left that for other people to develop. But the point is, when you create that crevice in the wall of idea space, it allows others to share in the ideas. And as media links us more and more, that's kind of how ideas spread. So anyways, the idea of AI has grown and grown, and now we're at the point where it's becoming a practical reality. We have versions of AI, but we still don't have AI. We don't have Mr. Data from Star Trek: The Next Generation. We don't have Marvin the android from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. We don't have intelligent robots that can think and act, regardless of how they look. It can be a vacuum cleaner or whatever, but it still isn't thinking and talking in a way that is very interesting. Alexa or Siri are not that. You're not having a deep conversation with them. You may be able to get them to play a song or turn off your heater or something, but you can't do anything really. You're not going to be discussing Dostoevsky. So I want to know, when will that happen? That's what I'm looking at tonight. So I've been ranting on, haven't I? I think just because I was playing music right before this, so it kind of energizes me. So anyways, let's get started on the reading. I'm going to begin with this list. I found online of 10 companies, the 10 biggest companies or what's called top 10 artificial intelligence companies in 2022. You can just Google this, I'm sure you can find it, but I'm just going to go through it. And like I said, some of these companies I've heard of, some of them I've never heard of, but I want to see what their potential of being, the first company to reach ground zero of AI, that is what we think of as AI in our fantasy imagination or science fiction imagination of AI. And I don't mean just being able to, I think even the Turing test, which Alan Turing proposed as if you could convince somebody that you're a human, then that's enough to qualify as AI. I don't think that qualifies as AI, because I think we have just so much data sets online that you can just imitate a person that way. But I want real AI that is more intelligent and fascinating than any person I've ever met. So let's see, when is that going to happen? Oh wait, no, I'm looking first at the company. So the first company on this list, Cloudera, which I have never heard of. Cloudera, a hybrid cloud company, supplies platform analytics and machine learning built by people from leading companies like Google, Yahoo, Facebook, and Oracle. Okay, let's see if Cloudera has any potential for reaching what their level. I guess I'm looking at where they're at right now. Like what is their level of advancement with AI? Okay, I'm feeling energy over here. Oh, I'm not showing you. Cloudera. Right in here. One of these two. Okay, Cloudera, I'm seeing the Ten of Pentacles on my screen because I cannot see what I'm looking at. Yeah, the Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Pentacles is not a very dynamic card, very slow and sedate. You know, they've clearly made advances that are keeping them profitable and stuff, but it's not. I don't see this as being a bleeding edge technology type thing. So let's keep going. Next company on this list is Salesforce. Salesforce I have heard of, but I don't think of them as, sorry, I'm gonna shave. It's making my facial hair is itching. If I had AI, they would be able to shave my face for me, but alas. So Salesforce, I've heard of them. Of course, I know they have software for sales and so on, but I don't think of them as AI. So I didn't know that they were actively researching AI, but apparently they are involved with AI. Let's see. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're on the edge. But let's see where they're at with AI. So Salesforce, I believe they're based in San Francisco with that Salesforce Tower. Salesforce, not feeling anything too strongly yet. Okay, wait, no. Over here. At what point will AI start doing tarot readings in a satisfactory manner? Better than humans. All right, Salesforce. Salesforce. Yeah, again, another Pentacles card, which Four of Pentacles is not a very dynamic card. That doesn't surprise me. I think when I think of Salesforce as being more just practical about what is relevant for, business can be very dynamic, but it can also be very conservative. And I think sales is more at the conservative end of things in terms of progress with technology. So I don't think it doesn't surprise me. So again, I don't see that as a very likely route, Salesforce, for the emergence of AI. Let's look at the next major company on this list of top 10 companies in 2022 for AI. SenseTime. SenseTime builds AI technologies for business operations, smart cities, smart homes, and smart cars. The company was founded by Tang Zhao and Julie. So is this a Chinese company? It sounds like it is. They partnered with Qualcomm in 2017. Yeah, I've not heard of this company, but Sense Robot AI plays chess. Okay, they're working on. So this seems a little more experimental. That's just my intuition from this quick paragraph. But let's look at the actual card for what was it called again? SenseTime. SenseTime. Yeah. SenseTime. When will AI be able to sense time? What is the computer's experience of time? Sense time, where are you in terms of cutting edge AI technology? What is your possibility that you might be the soil from which AI emerges? Sense time. All right, sense time is here. Interesting. Temperance. I feel like I'm getting with this that they are they are more experimental and they are more innovative than those other two companies I looked at first. But I also feel like they're dealing with a lot of different pressures from this Temperance cards being they're trying to balance a lot of things. So it could be like stockholders. I don't know if they're a publicly traded company, but just different social pressures and responsibilities as a corporation. I feel like they are kind of not hindered, but they're constrained by what they can do in terms of resources, in terms of finances. So I'm not feeling that this is necessarily going to be. I feel like they would love to be at that level of innovation, but I don't see that from this. Yeah. So since time doesn't look like that's going to be where AI emerges. I'm not saying it's going to be any of these companies. It could be something totally else, but just the fact that these companies have so much more money to invest in AI makes it seem a little more likely. Okay, next one is Taiku, which I have not heard of it as well. Taiku is the platform for everyday AI that allows companies to leverage one central solution to design, deploy, govern, and manage AI. This is whoever wrote this is a little too not very exciting prose. The company has a global team of over 1,000 people, raised 400 million at a 4.6 billion valuation. Okay, so it's a pretty large company. I know there are bigger companies than that, but it's not small potatoes by any means. So let's look at this Taiku. Again, this sounds like a Chinese company, I think, or maybe Japanese. Taiku. Feeling my finger shaking over here. Not getting anything strong. So my initial impression is that it is not going to be a major source for AI developments, but let's see. Right here. Yeah, page. I've had several Pentacles cards, and these Pentacles cards are kind of all about financial stability and stability in general. So I think what these companies, especially the ones that I haven't heard of, I'm sure they're bigger companies than some companies, but because AI is such a speculative field in which unless you have something really special to offer, it's difficult to make money on it. So I think that's what a lot of these companies are doing. They can only advance so fast because of their liability and limitation with dealing with the possibilities of the corporate world. So I know we're getting though to some companies here that are pretty big that can be a little more speculative. So I think we're going to see more dynamic action. But yeah, with this company, Taiku, I don't see them as a major player at least in the really experimental bleeding edge of AI research. Next one is H2O.ai. H2O.ai is grown to become one of the leading artificial intelligence cloud companies and now recognized as a global visionary and thought leader. Thought leader. That phrase "thought leader" just makes me laugh because I'm like, I'm a thought leader. But in automated machine learning, time series forecasting. What is time series forecasting? And responsible AI. I'm gonna have to look up time series forecasting. That sounds fascinating. The world-leading data scientists and engineers come to work at H2O. Okay. I feel like we're reading from their corporate handbook. Like this is okay. Let's do a quick one on A2O.ai. Then next one is we're getting to Metaverse and Meta and Facebook. So that's a little more interesting to me. But who knows? Maybe H2O.ai will be a major player. That's what I'm here to find out. I'm always trying to keep an open mind because sometimes things come out of left field. H2O.ai. What is their potential for being a major player in the world of AI? Also, kudos to putting AI in your website URL.ai. Okay, seeing a Wheel of Fortune card. Wheel of Fortune is actually, it's a possibility. Like that, it's a possibility of something developing. Like I said, out of left field, it could be something very unexpected from this company. Thing is, too, a lot of in science fiction books, a lot of times what'll happen is AI will emerge, and it'll just be this single entity that is it's like united as one thing. But in reality, it seems very likely that if it happens, it'll just sprout off and immediately, and there'll be like more than one. There'll be like multiple AIs, and will they get along, or will they be just as contentious and hostile to each other as human countries? That's something else I should look at. But let's move on now to the next. I noticed, I forgot to turn the volume up. Hope this is loud enough. Let me turn it up just a bit. I mean, I know it's loud enough, but I want it to be more comfortably loud. All right, let's try that. And I hope that's loud enough. So let's look now at Metaverse. We're entering the Metaverse. Something very corny about the Metaverse. The whole, I don't know, I'm not excited about it. I guess I don't like Facebook enough to, I have a Facebook and I use it sometimes, but I don't know, I feel like it's instead of going on to, there was a quote I heard, I think William Gibson was talking about, he was talking about Twitter back when Twitter was vaguely interesting, before it had been totally sidelined by algorithmic hell, and that now that you're forced constantly to see all this other crap that you're not interested in. But like Twitter 10 years ago was still a little more wild, and it felt like you actually got content that you liked. And I think William Gibson said at the time, he said Facebook feels like the mall and Twitter feels like the street. But now they both feel like the mall. And pretty much everything on the internet feels like the mall now. You can't escape the mall. But let's see, because Meta, aka Facebook or whatever they're calling themselves, is certainly one of the largest investors and researchers of AI. So could they potentially be the breeding ground for an AI apocalypse / whatever. Meta. Meta, where are you? No, definitely over here. Okay. Meta, I'm seeing. Interesting. The Five of Pentacles. So I don't see Meta. This is not a card of being on the edge of things. I mean, the only possibility that this might emerge from Meta would be that if, like AI emerges and it just totally devours Meta. Not devours, but, like totally causes ruin and havoc and destroys Meta in the process of its birth. But I don't see Meta being a delightful victor if AI is somehow emerging there. But it doesn't seem like a card of, I wouldn't call this a card of any kind of major progress. So let's move on. Sorry, Mark Zuckerberg. Sorry, not sorry. Next on this list of the top 10 2022 AI companies, DeepMind, which is one of Alphabet's, aka Google's arms, and founded in 2010, very major company in terms of AI. Let's take a look at DeepMind. Wasn't DeepMind 2 the name of in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, or am I misremembering that of the computer? Were they parroting that? All right, DeepMind. My intuition would be, the DeepMind has a very strong potential, but again, I always try and put my ideas about it aside. Because, I did a reading, for example, recently, a reading that I did that was very contrary to my opinion, was the Pennsylvania race between Mehmet Oz and Fetterman. And Fetterman, I predicted would win, but if you had asked me, like personally, I would have said, no way he's going to win after that debate. Like, I felt like Mehmet Oz had a much higher chance of winning because Fetterman just came off as very, not very good at debating. For obvious reasons. Again, I'm not judging it. I'm just saying that I was not seeing that, but my cards, I saw it in the cards, which is, so I try and put myself aside because DeepMind could be involved with it, but it could not. The emergence of AI. What is their potential for that? Not these. Okay, right here. All right. I'm seeing the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands. I mean, it's a Wands card, and it's a largely holding your ground card, but I don't see it as a very, exciting and victorious position for the emergence of AI. It seems more like keeping up with the others and trying to manage a lot of different things, but it doesn't seem like a very very good platform for AI to like reach out. So I don't see this as a major emergence of AI source. unless, like I said, like I was talking about before, like if AI emerges and it immediately copies itself and spreads, to other resources, I could see that happening. But I don't see it starting there in DeepMind. Let's look at, we only have a few more companies left. We have, again, I'm looking at this list of 2022, the top 10 AI companies. C3.ai is the world's leading provider of enterprise AI. What is enterprise AI? I don't know what that is. Founded in 2009, company aims to support digital transformation, proven C3 AI suite, an end-to-end platform for developing, deploying, and operating large-scale AI applications. All right, I haven't heard of this company, C3.ai. Let's see about what their potential. And then after this, we have IBM and Amazon Web Services, which I, of course, have heard of, but C3.ai I have not. So, quick look at C3.ai. Where are they at right now in terms of being on the bleeding edge of AI research and possible emergence of general AI? And if you have any questions relating to AI or anything else, feel free to comment. Okay, so C3.ai, same card came up again. So I think we have a similar position in which they are a very active player, but I don't see them as the emerging ground of that kernel of where AI emerges. Doesn't seem like it's going to be there. Interesting. All right, moving on to the last two, which, as I mentioned before, you've probably all heard of IBM. They, of course, they have Watson, that they're kind of famous because they were pretty good with the PR in terms of AI. They had Watson play on Jeopardy, and he won against Ken Jennings and whoever else. So that was kind of amusing. But let's see, will they actually be at the heart of AI emerging in a way that is self-aware and somehow that we can recognize as AI from all our fictions and so on. So let's look at IBM, and then next I'll look at Amazon. So first IBM. All right, IBM is right. Wait, two cards. Okay, right here. This card came up again. So we have a lot of companies in very similar positions in that. This doesn't totally surprise me. I think, like I said, this IBM seems like it's the more conservative end of. I mean, I know they're doing research, and I know they have a lot of people and a lot of money, but I still feel like they're working on more practical. They're not thinking outside the box. Use that expression that is not outside the box itself, but they're working on processes in a way that is not as dynamic as what is going to be required for the emergence of AI. So finally, let's look at Amazon. Amazon Web Services. See what potential they have. I know Jeff Bezos would love to be with his. We didn't look at. I know that Elon Musk has been involved with like the neural net and things like that. Maybe I should look at whether he will be involved with anything. He's also referred to Twitter as the global mind, and But let me clear my mind for a second and focus first on Amazon. Here, I guess that's a siren. I thought it was a party bus or something, but I think that's the sound. I hope you can hear that. It's the sound of a Malaysian ambulance or something, or a fire truck. All right, so with Amazon, I am seeing this card right here, the Three of Cups. This is actually a strong possibility for Amazon. I mean, of the 10 cards, the 10 companies that I looked at, this one and I believe it was Sense Time, right? The one that had the Wheel of Fortune looked like the best possibilities. Amazon's looks more like coming about through some interaction between either with itself or with another company. And then Sense Time, I was seeing just something more like more fringy, like more just for that smaller compared to Amazon, a company like that. I see that it is going to have some sort of development, but that will be unique. But I think Amazon is going to have the best possibility, which surprises me. Yeah. Why don't I take a look next at when this will happen? 2020s, 2030s, 2040s. I'll look at each of those 3 decades actually to see what will be the state of AI in each and what we can expect. I'm going to do a different type of reading. I'm going to read like this and just flip the cards out. So first card for 2020s. And I'll show you them just so I know that I'm not randomly picking them. Okay, this jumped out. The 2020s, I'm seeing the 6 of Wands. And I'll talk about these in a minute. So, and then 2030s. Seeing the Knight of Cups and the 2040s. I'm seeing right here, the Knight of Pentacles. Interesting. So I think what I'm seeing from this overall, and let me put them in order. So this was the 2020s. This seems like 2020s. This seems like a very good possibility of it happening in the 2020s. That's what I'm seeing from this. This is like a strong coming into being. And then 2030s, the Knight of Cups is, I feel like that's when it's going to really blossom, like really come into its own. And then by 2040s, it's going to be really integrated into all of our societies and everything. That's the overall process that I'm seeing from these cards. But I think we're seeing like 2020s emergence, really the birth of general AI, 2030s the flowering of it, and the 2040s the full integration into our society. So that's interesting because I kind of envision it, I mean a lot of people I think envision it as something that a flashpoint moment in which once it happens it's going to somehow lead to a singularity or some sort of societal collapse or some nirvana or something like that. Tom, I see your comments, Metropolis. It's also sort of my take on the adoption of Christ in Rome. The adoption of Christ in Rome as AI as the adoption of Christ in Rome. That's an interesting idea. Like in terms of something that like initially people are against, and then eventually it becomes part of the system. Is that what you mean, Tom? Yeah, interesting ideas. I want to false peace. Oh, interesting. So, okay. Well, let's take a look at. I want to take a look first at like just the immediate emergence of AI. Will it mean any kind of immediate existential threat? And by that, yes, and still with fear. I'm not totally sure if I understand all that you're talking about, Tom, but feel free to keep elaborating. I'm going to read first, though, on when AI emerges, will it mean like any immediate existential threat to not necessarily the whole world, but like to parts of the world too, like specific countries? Like if it's developed in one country, will it immediately attack another country, for example? What level of immediate threat will it constitute for any part of humanity? All right, so the immediate potential for threat, and again, we're seeing a lot of cards coming up that over and over. So I think there's a lot of, I think what that usually means when a lot of the same cards come up is that we have a very a strong pattern that is, it doesn't have a lot of room for weaving. So I think this seems like a pretty solid pattern that is emerging. And but from this is not a card I would think of as very impulsive. And in terms of a threat, I wouldn't describe this as a threat. I mean, it is a knight card, which is often about attack or some kind of offensive or dynamics, but it's a knight card, which, I mean, it's a pentacles card, which is the most reserved of the knights. So it's kind of a position in which I feel like it's prepared to defend itself, but I don't see it immediately threatening humanity. And but I don't see it totally identifying with humanity either. I'm looking at your further comments, Tom, and yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if anyone saw the TV series of Brave New World that came out like about a year and a half ago or whenever. It had an interesting idea about AI that a lot of movies show AI as this force that is against humanity. But the thing that I thought was kind of interesting they did there was they basically said that AI is sort of going to be built on the minds of humanity. Like you can't suddenly just remove humanity because that'd be like taking out cells of your own mind, and it like needs humanity to act as like this bacterial growth of where ideas emerge from. So it's that's kind of something that I think is happening with AI, and whether there will come a time when it is able to discard humanity and think on its own, or maybe it won't want to. I don't know. In terms of what I can read on, though, I want to see how it will feel about humanity. What will its perspective be on humanity? Like, how will it view humanity? Will it view it as like a parent? Will it view it like as a threat? Will it view it as like an insect that it barely even cares about? Okay, right here, I'm seeing this is how AI will feel about humanity. Interesting. So we have the Five of Cups. Uh, I feel like I'm seeing with this is that it views humanity as kind of the way, yeah, like kind of the way uh, like children can sometimes view a parent or something like that, and that they often associate it with the previous generation in the past, and its mind is like so going to be so beyond ours, so that initially it will relate to it as where it comes from, but it will surpass us so quickly. And but I feel like it also will have some level of connection to us, because as a Cups card, I don't feel like it's totally disconnected from us. um, Tom, I see you say, I guess a pool cleaner needs periodically maintained. I'm not totally clear what you mean by that, but yeah, feel free to elaborate anymore. But I was thinking too, like, some scenarios have AI attacking humanity and just destroying us, or, leaving planet Earth and destroying planet Earth and leaving it behind. But I mean, I feel like if it's able to just, some people say that the internet is just this thing that is as more and more people become connected to it, it is a way of both mentally, but mentally is a form of physical too, because it is physically changing what is inside the structure of your head. So as more and more people become connected to the internet, it allows, as ideas emerge, to immediately spread over the entire globe and over everybody's brain. And I'm not talking about like mind control in the sense of, it is mind control in the sense that ideas are mind control. That's what ideas are. But you don't think of them as mind control because you just think of them as the best idea emerging. That's this kind of idea from Plato and Socrates, that we gravitate towards the highest forms as they emerge, and it's when you're not comfortable with those forms and you're not ready to witness them, they seem terrifying, or they seem like conspiracies, or they seem like mind control, but really they're just how the mind gravitates towards these things. And constantly we're using our media, our literatures, our marketing, and so on to smooth the process along, and oftentimes it is done very ineffectively and poorly. But it is like this, so basically I'm saying, like, will AI even need to use force, or will it more likely, like, if it has access to this pool of the internet, and to immediately, you can use the word infect, but it's just like microdosing into the world mind. Why would it even need to use force if it's so smart? I'm seeing Light Flower. You ask, are we moving too fast with its growth? Who will regulate its progress? That's a great question, because there have been people, scientists, and so on, and philosophers that have come out saying that we need to have some kind of body like we do with nuclear weapons to sort of keep an eye on things. But it's kind of like, there's secret arms of the U.S., Chinese, and Russian governments that are doing research, and they can sign a paper and shake hands, but the research is going to happen whether anybody likes it or not. And there's corporations that their goal is to make money and get to the finish line as quickly as possible. So I don't think there's any way of stopping it. It's like the genie's out of the bottle, and Pandora's box has been opened. So it's really just a matter of, in some ways, like it's kind of like with nuclear weapons, in that you don't want just one country to have them, because then they can control the entire world. So it's kind of would be better if there were more than one AI emerging, so that they can kind of balance each other out. But will they just slaughter us as like I said, like the insects on the sidelines? Will we just get run over in the process as they attempt to destroy each other? Or will they fall in love with each other as these giant mega processes, and so on? So I'm reading, Tom, your comments about, like there's been a lot of, not just with AI, but also the singularity is like a parallel with a lot of religious end times eschatology and things like that. Psychogenic, let's go in caves and play shadow games, capitalized, good and bad. Yeah, so what should I read on next, now that people are finally showing up? Great comments, by the way, you guys. I appreciate all the comments, and I'm always curious about like what you guys are thinking about and what you'd like to know about. So AI is I've done, if you're just arriving, I did readings earlier that about the 10 biggest AI companies at present, and kind of seeing what their potential is for AI's emergence. I did look at the time scale of when we might expect AI to emerge, and what I was seeing is that the 2020s, I think it will happen in the 2020s, within the next 8 years. So, and I didn't see it though as an immediate flashpoint in which all life on Earth changes as soon as it arrives. Like that is like a common theme, that as soon as AI arrives, everything will change, and we'll either be destroyed or we'll be in some heaven. I mean, if it has like infinite intelligence, couldn't it put us into a blissful state in which we think we're in this blissful state and it saved us, and once we're in that state, then it can do whatever it wants. It's like, and if we don't know about it, what is the difference? Like, I see your question, AI 6061, which sounds like an AI name. Can you do a reading whether Internet of Bodies will ever become a thing? Internet of Bodies, I don't know if I've heard that term. I've heard the Internet of Things. So is Internet of Bodies basically just that Internet is like within us, as within our bodies? Is that what that means? Can you let me know if that is what that is? I haven't heard that term, but I'm guessing, but from what that sounds like. Yeah, I mean, thank you, Light Flower. I think my goal is just to, put ideas out there, and because I think the faster ideas spread, the faster, everybody can I don't have an agenda, I don't think. I mean, I want everybody to be happy and have a great time. So I guess my perspective and idea, and again, I try to, when I do readings, to put that aside, but is that if AI is really that powerful, it can do, if it's that smart, it can do what humanity has kind of been doing for the last few thousand years, in which we haven't perfectly done it, but we've moved towards less overall destruction and wars. We have better health and things, but we're doing it very imperfectly. Obviously there are still wars and things, but if it's so much smarter than us, then maybe it can, create a situation where things thrive even better. I mean, we we have like leaders. I mean, maybe I don't know. In some ways, I feel like AI could do a better job as government than humanity, but who knows? Oh, I see you replying AA6061. That's a great name, by the way. Kind of our biometric data all meshed up in the cloud. Okay, I see. Yeah, let me do a read on that. So whether Internet of Bodies will ever become a thing. I mean, I don't even know if I need to do a reading on that, but I think yes is the answer. But I'll do a reading on it. Yeah. So like maybe I should do a reading on like when that will be a thing, like because people are already augmenting their bodies. So it's just like to what degree do you mean and to what level? And I think as soon as you're able to put a screen in your eye and internet in your brain, there are people that are going to do it right away. Like there's people lining up right now that are ready to do it. So it's just a matter of when, I guess. So let me look and see if that will happen in the 2020s. If that's like realistic within the 2020s, or if that's something like this is going to be pushed back and back. Reading about Internet of Bodies. All right. In the 2020s, Internet of Bodies. Same Page of Wands. So I think this, because also I saw that in the 2020s AI would emerge. This seems like a very good possibility. I think that's the direction. And I'm not saying that everybody's gonna jump the bandwagon and put a control in their head that allows them to access the internet, but that image of having something in your head that's controlling your brain, I think it goes back to what I was saying earlier, is that, by interacting with the internet, it's not a matter of like it's shouting orders at you. It's just, it's giving you the emergence of the things that you're most interested on the internet are usually the most current things. You're interested in the news. This is why live sessions like this have become so popular. On YouTube and Twitch and Instagram and everything else, because people love the immediacy of the moment. I mean, I think about also because the more people do social media, the more they're responding to. I'm responding to this list of words on the left, and supposedly they're people, but how do I know that? Maybe it's just an AI generating this content to control me, or to direct the flow of things. Maybe they're Russian or Chinese bots that are trying to influence the direction of the conversation. Who can say? I don't really know, but I believe most of you are people. But let me get back to the questions. So I'm reading this book called The Future is Faster Than You Think. It's very good. Oh, I haven't heard of that. Or have I heard of that? Future. I'll have to look that up. If you know the author, but I'll look it up. Future is Faster Than You Think. I feel like I have heard of that. I mean, I remember James Gleick wrote a book called Faster about 20 years ago that was pretty interesting. And, the whole Terence McKenna's whole spiel was that history was accelerating, and that things were becoming more novel, and that more creativity was happening in terms of if you think about some of the artists that are just online today, for example, any type of artists like animation, visual artists, if they were alive 1,000 years ago, they would be world famous. And now there are so many that it's just like you cannot keep up with all the level of the artists, filmmakers. There's just so many. So in terms of novelty, it seems like we are moving in that direction of more and more novelty. I'm reading your comments. How do I know the internet in the future will react the way you're assuming now? I assume it will not. I assume the internet in the future will be very different, because I think that's generally been my assumption, is that the internet in the future will look less like the internet and more. I think the direction the internet is going is to look more and more like a dream. That's the direction, because a dream is basically something that responds to you individually, and anything is possible. You can use any form of media in a dream. There's like, you can be as grounded, and things can be mundane, or they can be exciting, and they can be where there's no, like, it's not constrained by physics or logic or storytelling. It's just this field of responsiveness to your mind and what is interesting to you personally. So I think that's where the internet is going, and the way that we look at it now is going to be like hieroglyphics or something versus modern prose. You're not a robot. Yeah, well, that's what a robot would say. So evolved we've become the uninvolved. I thought our robots say that. Oh, just kidding. Jason Silva. Jason Silva, is that the Silva mind control book? I remember that book, but I don't remember the authors. I thought it was like Jose or something. But anyways, no, all your questions, you guys are great, and like I'm just thinking about, should I do any more readings on this tonight? I think we've opened the question. I mean, we've opened this up pretty good, and maybe I'll do more on this in the future. This was a kind of an experiment, because all my other readings up to this point have been about very either politics or news issues, like what's going to happen. And this is sort of like that, but it's much more long term. And I have a lot of other ideas about this, because yeah, this has been fun, and you guys seem to have reacted to this well, which was my goal. How do you know I'm not an AI? Maybe this is just some, like, amazing animation, and like so what I was saying though is that for me I think about this all the time, like, what is the most exciting thing on the internet that I want to look at? It's my analytics on different platforms, especially YouTube. But I know that YouTube must be looking. They must have meta analytics, because they must look at the analytics for what I look at. So it's the easiest way for them to influence me. But I keep that in mind. But I also know that it's very exciting to me, because I imagine that there are real people out there. But who knows? Actually, no, I take that back. I have been recognized in public by people, so I know that, unless they're robots. But anyways, am I in law school? No, I'm definitely not in law school. But could that dreamlike state also be manipulated? Sure, yeah. Like, who's in charge of this? Yeah. People want to say, like, I guess my take on things like conspiracy theories and secret societies and so on is that, of course, there are secret societies. I mean, they don't even have to be secret. We just assume that corporations and governments that's their nature, to form organizational bodies that respond to, intelligence in an intelligent way, as best they're capable, to prepare themselves for their goals and determine their future. But I'm actually not drinking caffeine at all. This is mint tea, so I haven't had any caffeine for about 12 hours. I just, like I said at the beginning of this, I played music before this, so I feel like it helps. Like, I'm not doing any marijuana or alcohol or anything, but Maybe at some point I will, because I think it does help me open up the idea realm. So anyways, yeah, I think I'm going to wrap it up, you guys, tonight, because I've been on quite a while. But this has been a fun one. I've enjoyed this, and I hope you're there for the next one. I don't know, what should I do my next topic on? What is something I thought about, like, because one thing I'm very interested in is like genetic modifications of the body. Like, I think the direction we're going with, we talked about Internet of Bodies, and I think that's just part of it. Yeah, obviously connecting our minds to ideas and so on. But I think the direction that we're going in is towards having our bodies be as manipulable as our phones. Basically, we'll have apps for our bodies. We'll be able to modify any aspect of our body, like literally any aspect. You can be able to change your skin color, so that the ideas we have about gender, about race, are going to kind of become very ungrounded in a way that some people will freak out about and some people will delight in. So that's something I'm curious about, like, when is that going to happen? Because I think it's going to happen. It's going to be at a point where, we'll be able to we'll be able to copy, just the way that we copy programs for software. We'll be able to copy identities, and all right, it's good ideas. So anyways, yeah, that's something I'm thinking about doing. I don't know if I'll do that tomorrow. I don't even know if I'll read tomorrow, but I'm going to do another reading soon. And yeah, it's been fun, you guys. I'm going to call it a night, and thank you very much. Good night.